Alright, gamers, it's time to hopefully end it this time. Just because it looks like that doesn't mean it must be that. You made an incorrect inference because you're ignorant. You haven't been released from the loop yet because we're still in the testing phase. We're discerning whether there are side effects from long-term exposure to the technology. The fact you are now able to remember what happened in previous loops is valuable insight into the limits of the tech and will help us prepare for the eventual testing of timeline changes. Okay, fine. I'm not working on the experiment, and there are gaps in my knowledge. The thing is, everything you're saying keeps sounding more and more like an excuse. Just because I'm not a scientist doesn't mean my inquiries should go unaddressed. Sure, now I can remember what happened in previous loops, but I've been trapped in here for months. Assuming you ever intend to use this tech, surely you wouldn't trap anyone in here for even close to this long. You'd get results way before this point. Look, I'm just being as responsible as a scientist as I can be. It's hard doing work like this in a broken world. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying my best. This technology is volatile and untested, therefore its limits need to be fully explored before wider use is considered. That's just how science works. There's no hidden agenda. No, I don't believe you. You know the truth? You're just unwilling to accept it. My future self destroyed your life. My future self killed thousands of people. My future self may even inadvertently destroy the most important organization in the world. Once you discovered the time travel tech was no longer safeguarded, you saw an opportunity to exact revenge. You can dress it up as a legitimate experiment all you like, but you must know that isn't your true goal here. Oh, so are they going with the angle that Alice was telling the truth and they ruined them? Because I still think it's completely possible that Alice planted everything that they found in there. Or planted and put everything about Alice could easily. They had all the control. They gave them access to a room that they could have easily have modified. Gosh darn it, no! You still have no idea what you're talking about. Look, I guess you're partially right. I'm angry at your future self. I admit that much. They acted rashly, and the ramifications of their actions have been felt across the whole entire planet. But this really isn't the reason I picked you as a subject, and I'm not trying to punish you. I picked you because there are a very limited number of cases resulting in such sweeping negative consequences that can be traced back to a single instantaneous decision. The aim of this experiment has been to see whether it's possible to alter your motivation successfully in order to nudge you in the opposite direction in that split second. It might not make the world any better. Who knows what would have happened with casual change being as complex as they are. I still wanted to try. What else is there to do at this point? All we can do is try. I'm not a psychopath, gleefully celebrating every time you convince your future self they were wrong. I might have taken some satisfaction at the end of a successful loop. That's only because you succeeded. No, you took satisfaction. As a scientist, new technology is always a good thing. It has nothing to do about gaining joy from misery. You fool! Surely now you recognize that I am flawless. And remember one thing, I was complicit in your future self's actions. I knew what I was doing when I gave them access. I knew the risks. I didn't expect them to destroy the camp, but I knew something could happen. As a result, I accepted that from the moment I got involved. I don't know where you got the idea that I'm a bitter woman lying to everyone in order to exact my revenge, but you're dead wrong. You know, I'm starting to believe you. It sounds like you genuinely think your experiment could work, and I'm starting to understand why you picked me and my future self as test subjects. It sounds like you have the backing of other factions too. I'm confused. If this is all true, why did the other group contact me and tell me they had no idea what we were doing? Why would they deliberately lie to me? I'm starting to feel like I might have been used. I don't understand. The one thing I kept hidden from them is my location, and that was only for security purposes. I told them everything else. They're trying to take the technology. They knew my motivations, my methods, my hypotheses. I was completely open and honest. Everything seemed fine when I last spoke to them. The environment was competitive and tense, sure, but I felt like we all reached an unanimous understanding. Did they lie to me? Have they been planning something this whole time? Oh no! No. I know what they've been doing. Oh my gosh. How could you have not seen this? I'm so focused on my research that there's no way I could have seen it coming. I don't believe it. They've used you against me. I never thought they'd stoop to something so low, but I guess I was wrong. You've doomed us. We're all dead. Yep. Could you expect anything else? I'm actually impressed you managed to keep her distracted for that long. You performed brilliantly, far better than expected. Thanks to you, we were able to infiltrate her location and take her out and her entire team with complete ease. Now we finally have our hands on the new time travel tech again. You killed everyone. It was necessary. It had to be done. We were out of options. We weren't going to let her keep the tech all to herself for ridiculously idealistic goals. She was being childish and naive. It would have never worked. Why not tell me your true plans? Why lie to me? I would have thought that was obvious. You would have never helped us, would you? We told you what you needed to hear, so you would do what we required from you. It's simple, really. You monsters. Oh, please. You come from a peaceful time with plentiful resources. You have no idea what happened the world was like now. It's so much worse than you could imagine. Much of the planet is unlivable, most governments have collapsed, and billions more are on the verge of death. You can call us monsters, but if you could see this world, then you would learn very quickly that we are no different from everyone else. We do what we need to do to survive, and this time travel to tech is the best hope we have of survival. So, what are you planning to do with it? We're not planning on changing the past, that's for sure. It's a dead end. This world is ruined, and it will always be ruined. There is no changing that. We're all going to use the tech to travel back into a more comfortable and prosperous time period where we can live out our lives in peace and safely. If humanity insists on destroying this world, then we will just give up on humanity. You selfish monsters! You stole the tech and killed Alice and her team just so you could have an easy life? Even if you didn't think our experiment would work, you didn't have to destroy it and kill her. You didn't even give her a chance. You've changed your tune. Only a few minutes ago, you were arguing with Alice, trying to convince her that her experiment was nonsense. I mean, I wasn't. I just realized the true mastermind. That's because you lied and manipulated me. My gosh, I feel sick. On the plus side, you won't have to feel sick for much longer. Sorry, but it will end and it will take too long to figure out how to safely remove you and your future self from this bubble. Everyone who would know how to do that is dead. So we're just turning the whole thing off. If it causes damage to the timeline, well, who cares? We're traveling back to the past anyway. This will all end. Thanks again for helping us. Ha, ha, ha. No, wait. Shut it down. There's no good ending for you, that's abundantly clear. Well, I enjoy a good mystery, and I have to say, I'm proud of myself for figuring out everything before Alice was revealed as Alice. And yeah, that's the game. I highly doubt there's another ending. Based on everything, it seems like no matter what, you either stay in the loop forever, or you, well, stay in the loop forever. There's nothing you can do. Unfortunate, but yeah. So, what did I think of this game? Absolutely giving it a decent grade. I would probably, in turn, I'm thinking a 7 out of 10. Unfortunately, certain things hold it back. For one, the constant repetition. I'm just not big on the repetition. If they had, again, I'm pretty sure I missed new dialogue because I assumed that it was repeating. If they had an indicator, like again, the light bulb suggestion just says some symbol represent new dialogue. Heck, if they had an option for people who are not interested in doing that nonsense of repetition and just skipping, Or maybe not skipping. Eh, I feel like they could have done more, and if they couldn't, then either way, I can't really change my opinion. About a 7 out of 10. This was definitely something I'd recommend, although it looks like most of the experience is based on the story. So if those watching, I still recommend getting the game, and you think you can get some kind of enjoyment from it, but what you can do is recommend the game to people who have not seen this, I suppose. I haven't really discussed this much, but I can talk for another 15 minutes, considering how much time we have, so let me quickly... I guess we can just have a black background. Or no, I'll go to the title screen if I can. No? Well, I guess we'll just go black. Oh, no, that works. I just wanted to pause it. Where were we? Oh, yeah. That's one thing. The subject of story games being put on YouTube and whatnot. How do I talk about this? Because this is kind of on the spot. Alright. So, I enjoy these story games. One thing I've found is that a game that's entirely based on the story is often kind of ruined if someone watches it. Now, sure, you might say that you're watching a game because you don't really care if you get spoiled, and that might be true. If you don't have the money to get the game or you just wouldn't play it, that's one thing. One thing I've found, at least for myself, is there are some games that I wouldn't mind playing, but once I watch a playthrough, it's like, okay, I know the whole story. A great example, Life is Strange games. Those games are just it's almost like a movie almost. There's some gameplay, but for the most part, you're supposed to immerse yourself in the story and enjoy it. Walking Dead, so Telltale games, a lot of it comes from your experience. If you know everything that's going to happen before you get into it, it's like, shoot, I would compare it to a movie, but that's basically what you're doing with YouTube. It's kind of unfortunate that's the way it is, because I almost feel like that could harm the game, but at the same time, it gives the game publicity. It's like, there's a balance. If people weren't constantly spreading information about Undertale, I'm sure Undertale wouldn't have been able to become as popular as it has. After all, if no one's talking about it, then how would it spread? But at the same time, there are elements lost. Of course, Undertale's not the best example in terms of things being lost, considering even if you're heavily spoiled, the game's combat system's really fun. But that's the thing. Undertale has its combat system to still support it once the story is completely known. If you have a game like this, or Telltale, Life is Strange, or just another game that's story-based entirely, or puzzle games, like the game I'm playing right now. Goodness, I don't know when how data is going to be in past or future, but Amnesia: The Dark Descent. I've already played it a few times, or not played the whole game, but I've released a few parts that I've recorded. And I can tell you, with that game, if I already knew everything that was going to happen, each individual part, it would take the interest out for me. There was one point where I was hiding, the enemy was right there. And later I went to the wiki and found out that, oh, turns out if I ran up to it, it would just run away. I think it's called a gatherer, which I did predict being the monsters, but that's probably because of the prior knowledge I did have. Because I did say that I had prior knowledge about Amnesia. But I can tell you that the big plot twist of, well, not plot twist, but the ending of the part isn't going to really catch me off guard in the what's going to actually happen. I know exactly what's going to happen in the end, but enough of it is old enough to me, or I haven't seen it recently enough, that a lot of this is still interesting. The plot about the fellows basically being given wine and then killed, pretty darn interesting. But if I already knew that, then I would be more likely to be bored during those sections. And why am I getting onto this tangent here? I just felt like bringing it up when I thought about recommending this game, because other games I've recommended on my channel, uh, Nightmare House, Underhero, One Shot. I don't think I've ever recommended Undertale Last Corridor, but I recommend it as long as you can have as much fun as I do. There are times where I have to take breaks from it, but I mean, that's true with most games. I mean, you've played as much as I have. I imagine there can't be too many people in the community that have played Undertale Last Corridor more than me. There are certainly some, like Carpow. I think he's at 12k wins now. I've wanted to catch up to Carpow for a while, but I don't think I can. It's insane how many wins they have. Anyway, for those who listened to this, got this far, not sure if you're going to be interested in my opinions that I brought up here. You have something to add, a counterpoint? I don't know. If you just have something to say, go ahead and bring it up, because I don't know. I think it's an interesting subject, these story games, and how they're almost kind of ruined by being put on YouTube while also being able to be spread more. But yeah, I think that's about it. I figured it would be kind of unfortunate to end the video as early as I would have. So we added some more time, I discussed some stuff, and yeah. I hope you all enjoyed, because I'll see you all next time for whatever game I choose to play next.